good evening, and welcome to the conversation. I'm Kenny Roche. Welcome. Glad you're here this evening, Yvonne Ross. Good evening, Tora Polite. Good evening, Minister Rhonda Berry, and good evening, my mother, Pearl Roche. Good evening, Arvella Griffin Williams. Good evening, Kim Couch. Hello. Welcome to the conversation. Minister Keith Gordon, good evening and welcome. Hope Johnson, good evening and welcome. Yes, on this thankful Thursday. Yes, indeed. Thelma Young, good evening. Welcome to the conversation. Y'all go ahead and share this conversation. Call a neighbor, call a friend. Tell them this is going to be a good one tonight. So glad you all are here. Chara Stevens, good evening. Welcome to the conversation. It's 8 o'clock, y'all, and we're getting ready for the conversation. You got a few more minutes to invite someone in. It's going to be great tonight. We got a conversation that you will enjoy. So you got a couple more minutes. Invite your neighbors, invite a friend, tell them to tip on in. It's going to be a good conversation tonight. Welcome to all of you. And those who may watch this on playback, welcome to the conversation. Judy Lewis, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so glad you all are here for this conversation tonight. It's going to be amazing. Well, we're glad all of you are here tonight for our conversation with Kenny, and I'm so excited to have our special guest with us. And I've been looking forward to talking to these ladies for quite a while. And so I want to tell you to get ready to learn, to be inspired. And I believe it's going to be great. Have two ladies that have an awesome, just an amazing concept of financial knowledge for children. But I promise you tonight, that the adults on here, we will learn something and we'll be inspired as well. And I'm talking about none other than Ashley Mays Clark. She's the CEO of Sense to Sense, and also Dot Griffin Drayton. She's the COO of Sense to Sense. And we are so glad they're with us. And so, without any more delay, I want you to please just get ready and welcome these ladies to the conversation. Hello, hello, ladies. How are you?
Oh, hi guys. Thank you for
Hello.
having us.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so excited.
Thank
I'm
you.
so
We're excited
excited
too.
tonight because we got the boss ladies.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got the boss ladies in the house tonight. And so I'm really, really excited. Welcome to the conversation. How are
Thank,
you all?
thank you.
Thank you
We're
so
excited
much.
to be here.
This is
And
great.
excited to chat with you, Mr. Kenny. It's great to have a conversation with you. So it's all yours. So what
Yeah,
you want?
I've been looking forward to this. So I want to jump right in again. There are people still coming on. I played the music for a minute, and while people are coming on, and so people are still coming in saying good evening. And so I just want to start off. First of all, I got to ask. This is my first time having a mother-daughter combination conversation and working together as CEO and COO. So I've got to ask. So I'm gonna ask each of you, and I'm gonna start with the CEO first, Ashley.
Yes.
What is it like working with your mother as your COO?
Oh, it's a really a great blessing. It's hard to say because you'd have to know my mother to know that she kind of pulled me into this. Like my whole life is kind of like I was in training for this. So the benefit with having my mother as my CEO is she has a good background. She's been doing all this stuff. It makes sense to her already. So it was easy when I figured out that I wanted to do something like this. She was the first person I said, I was like, hey, mom, I'm coming to your house. I got an idea. I want to do something. So I knew if I ran it by her and it was good, then it was okay because she had already done stuff like this. And then I knew it was good because she told me, she said, okay, do not tell, be quiet. Keep this in your mind. We're going to get it together and we're going to figure it out. Just be quiet. We're going to sit and wait on it. So I said, okay, it must be good because she didn't reject the idea.
That is awesome. So now I got to ask you, Dot, what is it like working with your daughter?
Oh my gosh,
Come
it
on,
is
tell it.
so exciting. We really are a good team. We bring different things to the table. She is so creative. And sometimes, we differ, but we always work it out. She's the creative force, whereas I'm more of the administrative negotiator, make things happen. But it is so exciting to know that we're going to have a board meeting and we will be together. She's
That is
great.
amazing. That is amazing. So listen, I'm excited tonight because tonight we get to talk about money. I mean, we how often do we get to talk about money? We all need money and
Right. It's one
everybody's
of my
looking about
favorite topics. Money is one of my favorite topics.
yes.
Um, Yeah, it's one of my favorite topics in starting this business and having interviews and people asking us questions like, "Hey, how did you get into money?" or "How did you start?" It's really learning more of like how I said, "Oh my gosh, since I was a little girl, I wanted, I had this thing." One of my friends actually sent yesterday. She sent me a picture of the Maya Angelou quarter. She got a Maya Angelou quarter, and she was like, "Oh my god." And so I'm texting my old friends from the bank, like, hey, when y'all see this quarters, make sure y'all save me some. It's small things like that from since when I was a child that made me realize, like, okay, I was being groomed for this the whole time.
That is awesome. The thing about money for me is, and unfortunately, I would say a lot of us, we started learning about money when we became adults, when it was time to, get a job and go pay bills. Then we started thinking about money. But you all in this concept of sense to sense, you're changing that whole conversation and saying we've got to have these money conversations when these children are at a young age.
you've got to do that. A lot of times people think children don't need to know, that they will get taught in school. We found out with our crew that they were not getting taught in school, but we always provided money situations in the house. And we talked about it. We made sure they were familiar with money. There was a situation one time when it was after Christmas, and she wanted to get a
Baby alive.
baby alive. And so we thought, okay, if you want a baby alive, you got to save the money for it. And she tells me now, she said, a baby alive was $30. For real, Mom? But what we had her to do is to save to work in the house. And a lot of those things were making sure you were great at school, that you did your homework, and she was getting paid. And she saved all that money, $30. And her dad took her actually to the store to purchase that baby alive. And that it just kind of made that connection. We didn't realize it was going to be so major, but since then she understood that if you've got money, then those things that you want, you can go get it. Not because I could get it from Mom and Dad, because this is a skill that I need to have.
And there's something empowering about, and you said it's just $30, but it's something empowering about going to the store with your money to purchase something.
Yes, it was on layaway. That's when it was layaway. They were doing layaway at Walmart. So
I remember, yes, layaway. I remember that.
From my granddaddy, everything. But so it just basically showed how you can save, and inch by inch, you can essentially get anything you want if you take time to break it down and do it.
That's awesome. And that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping, I invited families, and I was hoping families, including their children, would be a part of this conversation, because I think sometimes it only takes one conversation like this to inspire a youth in the right direction concerning finances that'll carry them for the rest of their life. As you say, it carried you, Ashley, from a very young age.
Yes,
Just
yes,
experience
it will.
buying a doll, for instance.
Right. And then that's something that I found out. I just did on my Instagram. I did a live with a young lady who has a 6-year-old, and the 6-year-old was talking. She uses my flashcards, and she was talking about investing. At the end of the conversation, the little 6-year-old girl says, I've been learning about dividends because when I opened my architect company, I want to know about my profits so I can increase them and I know what I'm doing. Now I'm on the live. I'm like, oh my God. And the mom is like thanking me, but I'm like, it's so easy. A lot of times with, I guess we should talk about this too. The flashcards this is how they look. So they simple things like spend to save money. This was the first cards that I created on my own. And I did this because I worked at a bank, and I worked at 2 different type of banks. I went from banks from one different area to a different area with different social economics, and I realized the questions that were being asked were totally different from the previous bank that I had, and it had a lot to do with the people that looked like me or the same color as me. And one day somebody came in. Actually, it's very crazy because it was dividend. A guy came up with his bank statement. And he was like, dividends, y'all are taking my money. Y'all are, and I had to show him that dividends were actually an increase. And that's one of the words on our flashcard. Actually, the 6-year-old was able to explain that to me on the live. I never thought about it till right now. But I realized that how easily, like, our kids should know this word. Instead of being retroactive where we're having to fix mistakes, if you get it in them when they're younger, be more proactive about it. It's a lot easier that way. So now this is our new cards. I actually had a graphic designer for these with things like credit inquiry, simple. And what's good about it is you're talking to your kids about things like credit inquiry, and they're like, wait, what's credit? They're like, wait, what's stock? They enjoy the conversations. They have a good time. Kids want to learn about money. It's so exciting. So like I said, 3 years ago, 2019, April 15, my grandmother's birthday, I started this business. and it's just been absolutely amazing. We started with the flashcards. We went from different sets. On our latest thing, I did some flashcards for Robinhood, the investment company, for their internal team. These are crypto cards talking about cryptocurrency. I did the copy for this. I actually, Brittany Bosco, your niece, pulled me in for this project with her, which was really great. And we went to high school together. And she just called me one day, like, "Hey, Ashley, we could use you." So it's great to, not only that, see both things work full circle.
So,
Absolutely.
so you're actually creating flashcards for children to understand cryptocurrency as well?
Yes.
That
Yes.
is amazing because cryptocurrency is pretty much the latest conversation that's taking place, and I would
Yes,
dare
yes,
say
yes. And it
there.
was for me, it was a lot for me. It was a lot for me to even learn, because when you think about it, I try to make words simple, because all the time I'm getting people like, "Hey, I need this for myself, adults," because you have to break it down to the simplest and easiest. And cryptocurrency is just like, it's still making my mind explode, but it's a lot easier with these cards, I promise.
Listen, I'm ordering a set of those cards tonight because
We got you. We
I'm
have you.
still learning about cryptocurrency. That's why I said I believe even though your program is designed for children, but I know there's something that us adults can learn tonight, and the simplicity of it. And I'm wired to where I need it broken down in least common terms, and
It
so
is
it sounds like that's what you offer there.
it is definitely for adults as well. As we found out once we started once we started in the businesses, we need adults to know what's going on, because we need to make sure that these babies get the help they need. So, traditionally, I've always worked with adults. And then when she came up with the concept is providing tools for little people, I mean, that has been exceptionally good for us, and we've seen so much progress with our kids. There on our website, you'll notice that a lot of times the parents will send in, like she's talking about the 6-year-old. A lot of times parents will send in, the video of their children and some of the things that they're doing, and it is amazing when you think about a 6-year-old that's already thought the entire company through, and is already set up in a position to start her own company. So it is definitely, and as she said earlier, we started basically with the tools that's got your basics. You got to learn what money is. You got to learn the value of money, and you got to learn with starting to save money. And
So I
that's the
want to
key.
that is so awesome. Now I want to go back to the begin. I want to go back just a little bit. So what was it that convinced you? When did it hit you that children need to know about money? What was the first
Well, when
inkling that made you think that?
I started, okay, so like I said, it started at the bank. I was working at the bank, and then me and my friends, I was like, "Hey, y'all, what are some words, other words that people come here and say and they don't know, but we feel like they should know?" And so we started talking about the words, and I started teaching my children it at my house. And then when people, I recorded a video on Facebook, and then when I put it on Facebook, people were like, "Are those flashcards? Are you making those? I want some of those. I want to teach my kids." And that's really how it started. And this was so wild is, mom, the first 500 set of flashcards, I was like, "Mama, what are we gonna do with the office full of flashcards if nobody buys this flashcard?" And now when I look at it now, we've sold a lot of flashcards. Um, so it's, I mean, and to be honest, I sold things like t-shirts. I'm an entrepreneur. This is my mother. So I've sold sneakers, and I sold high price sneakers like Jordans, and people, I know the money that people will pay for some sneakers, especially for their kids. But what's scary and still scary to me is when I came out with these flashcards, I didn't know if people would find value in them. I didn't know if people would say, "Oh my God, my child needs to know this," like getting some hot sneakers on a Saturday morning. But I want people to feel like this, like we can do this for our children. We can change generational wealth as simple as, I mean, we got the sense. We just got to get our sense and make more sense is what we have to do it. So that's the whole
Wow.
idea behind sense to sense, because once we get the knowledge, we can make some pretty great decisions on what we can do, not just us, our children, our families. Open up the conversation, even having the flashcards in the board game. We have the board game where people are playing a board game at the end of the day, and kids are spending their credit and they're learning what a credit score is just with paying the game. Because when I had the flashcards, that made sense. And I was like, okay, kids are no, but I wanted them to see how it could be, what do you call it? Like real life scenarios. So that's when I came up with the board game when I was in the hospital. And the board game is good. People are liking that. So it's making sense. And I don't know, every year I say I'm not gonna come out with anything else. Last year I came out with the app, so you can get the flashcards on your app if you have an iPhone. Sense to Sense. Now our greatest thing is I'm coming out with a virtual academy for children where we'll have classes on banking, credit, loans, investment. And so at any time, you'll be able to come online, tell your child, hey, we're going to learn about this. So you can sit, and then I'm going to have parent something for the parents where, hey, this week your child is talking about budgeting. Maybe show them budgeting, maybe have them help with meal planning so they can see that stuff in real life practices. So I'm super excited about that, although I said I wasn't going to come out with any more products.
Oh, no. She will listen. She has turned into me. I used to, when they were young, I used to get them up and start talking to them and telling them all the things we're going to do, writing it down. And they always say I write on everything. She's that person. So if something happens or we have a conversation, she's like, Mom, we got to talk. And she'll go from thinking about it today to tomorrow, have an entire outline. And she'll be like, okay, Mom, how are we going to do this? But it is good because what we found out is our business is on the cutting edge. Being on the cutting edge, it allows us to introduce new products like the crypto. And she just mentioned the budget program that's being put together. Well, what's neat about that is people will be able to buy that and be able to use, they become the teachers, or a classroom can work with that and teach the children from the beginning to the end. We teach kids to save the money, but then you got to have that goal and have a purpose for the money. And it's real simple. And the game that she talked about, the game will teach you how to live your life. It teaches you how to, well, when you get started, you get X number of dollars, you purchase property, and you have an opportunity to buy cars, etc. And it'll show that if you buy a car with a low credit score, how your interest rate would be. But if you pay your bills properly, then you get a low score, and then you'll be able to use that money. Get a high score, then you'll be able to use that money with a lot lower interest rate. And it also talks in the game about purchasing businesses, because that's what we like to talk about. It just shows you if you can plan and put together the map, and it's so simple. It is written down where you can go from low credit. See, we don't repair credit, but we teach you we throw out some tidbits on things that they can do. And for little people, they don't have that issue. They can start out, and when they're young adults, they can purchase houses at 21, 22, because they've already prepared for it in their early part of their lives.
This is so amazing. Listen, people, I hope you all are hearing this. This is going to change the whole landscape. I mean, when a child learns, matter of fact, I was thinking about this in Proverbs 22:6. It says to train up a child in the way that they should go, so then when they're older, they won't depart. Okay, as a preacher, I've always looked at that in terms of, obey your parents and bring the children up in church so they understand God. But there's another whole piece to that we missed. Training them up to understand finances, to understand their credit score, and to understand how to purchase and how to be landowners and business owners and how to purchase homes and understanding your credit score. It determines your interest rate, all these things that you are introducing to children. Come on. I love it.
Yes.
Thank
This
you,
is
thank you,
awesome.
thank you, thank you. It is one of the things I truly enjoy. Since I enjoy it with my being doing it with my mother. Um, I like I said, a lot of it. My mama, if you know my mama is a businesswoman, so it's hard to explain if you don't know her. I feel like I mean, I feel like it's just she has it. And someone was here the other day, and me and my sister were talking. We were talking about business, and somebody said, "Do y'all ever talk about anything else besides business?" And I was like, "Oh my God, is that what we are doing?" So yeah, I mean, it's just something we truly enjoy. I mean, with this business, I enjoy seeing. I mean, seeing like I've talked about sneakers a lot, but sneakers is a lot of my life, but not a lot. But I played a big part of my role when I did this paper in college. It ended with how Michael Jordan, he had a greater impact on not just where he was, but everywhere. And as far as his apparel, his brand, and everything, it's a piece of him walking all over the world. It's a piece of him. And when I see somebody I mean, it's all over the U.S. or somebody, we get an international order. It really blows my mind. That's why I was telling my kids today. I was talking to my kids today. I was like, "Do y'all realize like I started this business and how like this has happened?" I was like, "I knew this is going to be good, but I didn't know this is going to be good, really so good." But it's an absolutely blessing to be able to have an impact in someone's life who you never may get to ever see ever in life, but to know that you had one day one little kid's going to remember that, hey, I was playing that game, or I remember what interest rate is and why that matters. It's very fulfilling.
Oh, I know this is going to change some child and some adult's life. I was actually reading recently that African Americans are some of the top consumers
Oh, absolutely.
in America on a yearly basis, where we spend, uh, listen, over $1 trillion
Absolutely.
we spend in consumers because we want the best this and we want that, but there's not much. We don't own that much. And so to
Right.
change this whole mindset that not only do we work for money, but we can get to the point to where our money is working for us, and you're training children at that young age. I think that is so amazing to change. Matter of fact, somebody commented and they just said, thank you all for changing the mindset of our people, because we've got to think ownership. We got to think ownership and putting ourselves in the position to prosper. And so you're showing us how to do that. Thank you so much.
Well,
Thank you, thank you.
and we love it.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. It's fun. I mean, like I said, it's fulfilling to be able to change. I mean,
But see, knowledge, you mentioned knowledge is everything. We as a race of people, it's almost like when we get money, and I used to tell the girls that when you get money, you can't get so excited till you spend it. You've got to get so excited that you save it. And then you direct what happens to that money. And the consumer rate is so high with us because it's that truly that lack of knowledge. And you have to start young. She helped me to know that we had to go younger with these children. And so, when we go out or we do a conference and all the little children are waiting and telling their parents, I can get an ATM card and I can make my own purchases and save my money and not do credit cards so much, because she actually talks a lot about the spending, the interest on credit cards. What parent sits down and talk to their child about that? So we've created the tools to just empower kids to be successful, to be financially successful, to think about money before you spend it. And we do talk about money a lot. We do.
Yeah.
But we talk about it in our family as in what y'all want to buy.
what can we invest in? It's more like it.
Oh, what do you want to buy? You want to buy another house? what can we invest our money in? And because they're, with my other daughter, we can break up in groups and everybody can research a particular topic and then we can bring it back to the table. But we're always trying to empower kids. And so when Ashley came up with the cards and she wasn't sure if people would buy them, as because of the price of them and putting them together, and being me, I just kept saying we got to make this so professional. People have got to see this as a professional entity, and they will buy in it as opposed to buying sneakers. And we've seen that trend. And when we first started, we started with, we were doing everything here. And then we just grew so big that we had to get a warehouse. So
Wow.
we can look at our growth, and well, we track it. And everybody else, there's nothing special. If you get the knowledge, you can do the same thing and do even greater. Wouldn't you say,
So
Ash?
Yes.
I want to ask you a question because I'm sure I remember the first time you presented this to me, I was blown out the water from day one. And so, is it ever, and now you've told us this, it's never too early to begin to study money, which is what you're encouraging us to do. But for the person who's hearing this tonight, is it ever too late to start studying money?
It's not. It's not. And that is why the best thing about it, like I know we keep talking about empowering kids, but what we are really doing is empowering parents so that they can empower their children all the time. People are saying, I need this for me. Or I emailing like, hey, I learned something. I didn't know this. This is but that's why the basis is not just, it's simple enough so anybody can learn. It's simple enough for a 4-year, not even 4-year old, because last week a 2-year old, if you go on my Instagram, this mom is asking about a 9 or 10-year old, what is a budget? And the 2-year-old says something you use to track your money. And I'm like,
What?
wait, what? So yeah, so people keep asking what age. I don't put any age limits on it. It's from age, now I can say 2 until 102. Because like I told his mom, like I cannot believe that little baby said to track your money at 2 years old. So people always ask, when should I start? It's not ever too late. It's never too late to start. It's never too late to start saving. It's never too late to start investing. It's never too late to start learning. I feel like in this day and age, you can Google finance free finance lessons. And there are a lot of people that look like me and you that you can come to and approach and just talk about money. It's okay to talk about money. Me and my friend were having this conversation the other day, and I was asking her, like, wait, well, what is that bill? And somebody was like, why are you asking that? I'm like, no, we have open conversations about money because that's how we get better. That's how we help each other. I'm not, friend, how much is it you're doing for that? Because I want to help you. We can help each other. It does not have to be, oh my gosh, I'm not sharing what I know. I'm not talking to anything. And then part of why I started this business, my best friend was like, um, I feel like if somebody knows about something, we should be happy and okay with sharing it because that's how we all get better. And that's why I was like, oh, I know about finance. Maybe I could probably do something where we could teach people about finance. It's never too late to stop, to turn around your whole financial. It's not too late to get it back. If you are alive, it is okay. You can bounce back and shake back. If you want to understand, get you some flashcards, learn with your child. It's a family event, have fun.
It's a family affair.
And that's why I wanted with the cards, I wanted it to be fun. I want it to be family, and everything I do is colorful. So my big thing's fun and family, because seeing kids seeing the color, when it's fun, they're going to be taught to it. And when it's family, I mean, that's the basis of, I guess, our business. I mean, this is a family business, so we want families to be together.
Yeah, fun and family. That's awesome. And one thing is so important is I think we have to allow ourselves to be vulnerable enough to say what we don't know. A lot of times we walk around and we won't say what we don't know and don't want to
Mhm.
ask the
Right.
questions. But this is almost it. This is your approach to the cards and the games. It's almost it's such a safe, almost a safe way to learn about finances. And
Mhm.
like you said, it's family. We can all learn about investing together, because when I never really thought much about budgets, honestly, until I got married. And my wife had a finance degree. And so she was like, let's talk about budgeting. And I'm like, budgeting? I just spend my money. And then I realized you have to be able to look at your money.
Mhm.
It's so
Mhm.
important. And so we have to change our whole mindset. If we're
Mhm.
ever going to really be prosperous, you're showing us how to do that.
Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. So we always, I budgeting is like my main topic on the kids. I used to do classes with kids in person. That's first class on our virtual class as well, is budgeting, because we always know where our money is coming in. We know how much money we get in, when it's coming, and where. But the problem is we don't know where our money is going. So knowing where your money is going, keeping track of your money, allowing your money to have a place. Like, hey, everybody has a home. Everybody, all of this money, every dollar has an address. So being able to do that is the basis of what I teach, because once you learn how to handle your money, you can start saving. Once you start saving, you can invest, and you can do that again. Continue to grow your money
Over and over.
and tithe and pay your offering and leave generational wealth and have fun with your family. Enjoy life.
Okay, Ashley, now you dropping all kinds of nuggets right here. Now, wait a minute. Did you just say every dollar has an address?
Yes.
Let's talk about that for just a minute, please. That
Be-
that was heavy right there. I couldn't let that one go by. Let's talk about that. Every dollar has an address.
yes, you, because like I said, you know where your money. Everybody knows you when your money is coming. You know when it's coming, how much is coming. A lot of people already spent the money before it already came. But okay, if you're gonna spend it, if you're gonna create a budget with your budget, you need to tell your money where to go. This is going to savings. We're not spending this much on Chick-fil-A today. We're not spending this much on this. Have your pal. This is my tithes money. I know every time I get paid, this is going to this. This is my offer money. This is my mortgage money. This is going to this. So at the end of the day, when you look at your budget, it's not like, oh my gosh, I have more month than money. At the end of the month, you should have more money than month. So just knowing, being able to take a look at that, and um knowing where your money is coming from. A lot of people that I work with, they have a budget and they start talking about what they're going to do. And I say, no, show me your bank statements from the last 2 months. Then we will know where you are spending your money. And when people see that, they're like, oh my Lord, I had spent a bunch of money on
Food.
Food. Yeah, a lot of times that's what it's food at Amazon.
Food at
Food and Amazon. That's it. Ashley, I want to ask you another question, because I was on your site one day and you said we should stop saying money doesn't grow on trees, which I thought was interesting.
Yes.
Talk about that for
I
just a
believe you
minute.
should not tell your children that money does not grow on cheap trees. What you should do is get the seeds of financial education into their life, so they have the
Mm,
seeds to grow the money that whether that does grow on the trees. Give your
wow.
kids
I
the
love it.
financial knowledge. Plant those seeds now so that money will grow on trees, because you know you planted the seed. I mean,
That is wow. That is so amazing. When I saw that, I said we got to talk about that, because I've always heard my whole life money don't grow on trees. But then you said stop saying that, because there are seeds that we can plant to produce the
Absolutely.
finance. Come on here. I love it. I love it. I love it. So Dot, I wanted to ask you, she was because I also saw where Ashley said that you were one of her mentors her whole life, and her father just sparked this interest in finances. So I mean, I'm sitting here being blown away by the concepts that your daughter is putting forth. And she's talking about she's not planning on producing any more products. We just gonna keep pulling for these products to come. But how are you feeling just sitting here sitting next to this powerful woman who I believe is going to change so many lives and make the future of so many people better by this.
Oh, that's so
She is.
sweet.
I'm so excited and so proud of her. A lot of times you don't know that your children are learning, but they are listening, and she has proven that. Because what we've always had money conversations. We talked about what things cost. We sat at the table, we did budgets, we looked at money, how it came in, how it went out. In the mortgage company, when we were, they always saw the money coming in, but then I had to give them the opportunity, and they a lot of times paid those bills, is see that money going out, even allocating it and sending it to the address where it should go. And their dad was always talking to them about money, because he didn't want them to, as a parent, daddy, didn't want them to go up and somebody dinkle cashed in their face and it kind of got off track. That's where that came from. But it was good. It just went along with, we just always wanted to be clear. And if you don't talk about something, you pretend it doesn't exist, then you continue to fall into the same pit. So we just, when Patrice, when she went off to school, she went off, to get a degree in finance. She doesn't like to talk about college. She wants people to think she just thought of it. But anyway, so when she went off to college, she kind of had a made up mind that, because they had with me, they worked in the mortgage business, and they had vital parts that they played in the business. We never told people no, that they couldn't purchase a home. We taught them what they needed to do, and they ended up teaching a lot of those classes, small classes on the inside of the business. So I'm just so pleased. We didn't know how it was going to end up, but it has ended up like this.
This is amazing. Now, I wanted to tell you all a quote that I saw when I was preparing for this conversation tonight, and there was a quote from Warren Buffett, and this is what he said. He said very simply, "The more you learn, the more you earn."
Mm.
So would you say there is a connection between knowledge and wealth? Is there a
Yes,
connection?
Definitely.
readers are leaders. It's all the same. Yes, 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 yes. It's definitely it's such, once you start learning, once you learn something, it's like my my 11-year-old just for Christmas he built his own computer. And most of the time I'm so confused about everything with a computer. But now it's like with him knowing about it, me and my daughter, everybody in the house is like, gee, he's telling these numbers and these codes. But now as we are learning more, we're able to have more of a conversation with him. And it's the same thing with money. Once you learn more about money, you can have easier conversations. It's so amazing that now with my friends, we get together, we're talking about investments and insurance and life. What y'all got your life insurance together for your family? It's just amazing the conversation that had led. But I do have to say something, Pastor. I have to say this. I have to say this. In October, was it October? Was it when I got out of the hospital?
In October.
I want to say it was October 13th because I wrote it in my calendar. I came to church, your church, first day, my first time in church in like years. After I got out of the hospital from being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis after being in a hospital rehab, and I went to your church, I believe it was October 13th. I'm on my phone so I can see on the calendar. I'm sure it's still there. And you spoke about life, how people's lives are going to change within the year. That day you spoke about it. You spoke about 6-figure businesses will be made. It was my first time in church. I actually got out and I talked about how I was in the hospital. And in the hospital, I couldn't walk or talk. All I had was time to think was the mind, because the mind is so powerful. And and you spoke and you said within a year people's businesses will be changed. And I wrote it down on my calendar I believe it was October. It was on October, and I wrote it down to remember a year later. And last year, it was 2020. I looked at it, and a year later, I had reached that goal. You said businesses, six-figure businesses will be made, and
Wow.
it's absolutely amazing. Like I said, the year I started this business, 2019, was an absolute rough year for me. It was rough.
Yes.
I started my business in April. I started getting, my house went through, my mother-in-law passed, my husband's grandfather passed, who was like his father figure. I started this business. I got sick. I was in the hospital, and even within the year, this became a six-figure
Mm.
business just because people wanted it in the hospital. I told my mama once, I said, I'm going to throw this phone. I'm done with this business. I just want to quit. And she said, nope, you cannot quit. And another thing I can say, when I was diagnosed in the hospital, the doctor said, you probably not going to ever work again. And she's crying. And I'm like, Ma, you got to chill. It's okay. This business is doing good. And I haven't been able to do anything. I'm in the hospital. My daughter was 10 years old at the time. This when we were still packaging orders at the house, was packaging my orders. So you definitely spoke into my life, and I often think about that one Sunday that I went. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't think I've ever been able to tell you that, but you spoke into, I hope it was more than my life, but you definitely spoke into my life.
I give God all the praise because I speak these things under His instruction, and that was your moment. And I'm listening to you talk, and I'm thinking about Psalm 66 that says, "I went through the fire, I went through the water, but God brought me out into a wealthy place." And that's wealthy, healthy, and blessed. And so I thank God with you. I thank God for you. I wanted to ask you all a couple other questions, and God bless you. And I know your business will continue to go from here. I wanted to ask you a question because I also saw I was hanging out on your website, and you reminded us that home is the first school where this teaching should begin at home. And so would you give us maybe two or three basic types of things of conversations that parents can begin to have with their adults at the house? Now, of course, on the end, we're going to show everybody how to order all your products, but just off the top of you all's heads, what are a couple of concepts that would you say parents could begin to discuss with their young children
One
in
that
terms of
my children
finances?
love is when we do our weekly meal plan is budgeting. Um, I started with them. Hey, go on. Where could y'all find? Think y'all could find the best deals for this? Me and my daughter, almost 13-year-old, we coupon now. So I'm like, hey, where can we look? So on a Sunday, I'm like, hey, put this together, look and see where y'all place. It's amazing the things that they decide on not wanting from the store when their budget. Hey, I'm like, hey guys, look, this is it. And then sometimes I give them a strenuous budget just to see what they can do, just to see what things that they can that they eliminate. And for them, you get to see, oh wow, maybe I can use the Kroger brand of these peas or something. They get to take about, and they look at them like, oh mom. And this a lot of things. We were having a conversation earlier is about the people don't know the value of money. Like children don't know the value of the money. If you say, guess what? I'm 18 years old and I'm getting a job with $30,000. You're like, okay, 30,000, but you're not thinking about breaking it down in 52 months. I gotta eat, I gotta live, I gotta gas, I got insurance and all that. So just allowing children to see that. I mean, even small stuff like conversations with my children that we started having is like, okay, I'm at the swiping my card at thing and it's asking me debit or credit. Which one do you think? Why debit? What's going to happen with the debit card? If I had to choose credit, just tell them what is going to happen with credit. Is there a benefit to using credit? Are we going to get some rewards? Are we going to pay this off? And then there you have 8 questions that's already started from a simple conversation. And once you get the money conversation started, I can guarantee you with your kids, they won't stop.
It does
That
not.
is so amazing. You would think that why do you think schools don't teach finance to this level? I mean, we learn basic math and so forth. And
I that's that's a troubling question for me, because I feel like it should be the basis. And but a lot more, I mean, it's very rare that is, I sometimes get people that say, oh, we learned this in a private school, we learned this, and that's why I'm so adamant about teaching it, because most people learn algebra in high school, and 76% of people that learn algebra said they never used it anymore at the high school.
Right.
But financial literacy, you use it every day of your life. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to be pushing that to be changed, because it's definitely something that I feel like, it's proven. I can show that it's working based on videos and reviews and stuff like that. But if they're not going to teach it, that's why I have the tools. I'll give it to anybody. You want to teach your child, you want to help me, I have the videos. You're not sure how to talk, we have our virtual academy coming in April. So you learn together. I'll have you a study guide, teach and walk through with your child, your parent, your students, your classroom, your Sunday school. So you be able to come there and buy that. And not only are the children allowed to learn, but you can interact. Again, it's family. We got to do this together.
Yeah.
And I don't think public schools see the need. I mean, they're so concentrating on the basics. It's like the learning, it's not an extracurricular. As she mentioned, it should be some of the basic. And it does need to start early on, because as a result, I think it can prevent some of the issues with persons that's in a financial need going out to do some of the, doing something that's maybe not so legal. Because people do need money to survive. And I don't know why they haven't put those concepts together and know that it needs to be in a school system.
I guess that they're saving that space for Ashley. I thought about when I was at Savannah State, and I don't know if this is in high schools, but I know in colleges, when students enter the schools, they have credit card applications on every
What?
counter,
Oh,
ready to get them in
Yes,
there.
sir.
And so for college students who have no idea of finances, they
They
think, oh, I can get a credit card and not understand, the consequences of this. And
And when
so,
I first went to Armstrong, the first day we moved in campus, if you signed up for a credit card, you got a free pizza.
but are you serious?
I'm so
Yes.
serious.
Yes.
But now, Bart Hunter just wrote, the system wants to keep people broke and
believe
to
it.
Yes,
give
and that's
children with
that's
no
also
knowledge.
what I was going to talk about. Imagine if all of our children were financially educated, how much these big corporations wouldn't be winning the way that they're winning. The banks wouldn't be spending money. Wouldn't be giving out loans at a credit horrible interest rates or any of that. I mean, it's if they taught it. I mean, think about how much money if we had people, a whole nation of people, especially some people that look like me and you, that knew what to do with our finances. We would really change the game. We would change the world as far as it's just so much.
It will be empowered. But the good news is, we've had the opportunity to work with some colleges. So colleges are calling us in, and so we're doing been doing some virtual teaching, and that's been good. So hopefully, the word to get out. We do have educational people that have called us, but they don't have the money for it in their budgets, etc. But so we'll just keep doing what we're doing, and we'll start working at that level that we've been allowed to work at with the college level. But if people understood money, you could take away the welfare system would change. The entire mindset of the people will change, and parents can teach their children. Children can go up and teach their children, and it just keeps passing on. You look at this. You look at Ash. We grew up in that environment, trying to, this is what you need to do. This is what I think, and you don't think they're listening. I didn't have the tools that we have here, but she got the point.
Well, you're equipping us tonight. Now, Ashley, you said your virtual school starts this coming April?
Yes.
The
Wow.
3-year anniversary.
Wow. People, I am so excited about your virtual school and for
Thank
what
you.
you're offering there. And I know it's going to be amazing. And everybody, I can tell. In fact, one of my dreams for Branded Hearts is to have a Branded Hearts Academy for children. And I'm going to tell you, when that day comes, one thing that we will offer from the youngest child on as far up as we go, there will be financial literacy
Yes, please.
for
And
every
call
child. It's
me in.
got to be there.
And
It's
we'll
got
make
to
sure
be.
you have all the tools. We didn't mention that we have books also. So we've got the tools. This is a great leader.
This is awesome. So now you told I wanted the people to know how we can find your products and yeah, your website. Tell us about your website and the materials that we'll find on your website, please.
Sense.org. Sense, SENSE, the number 2 cents. I thought for sure I'd have it written somewhere. But
There it is.
oh, there we go.
Gotcha.
Sense.org. We have the flashcards, we have board games, we have books for coloring books for 5 years old called Pay and Saves that you can get a piggy bank with. So not only are you saving, your child can have a goal that they save and they have a piggy bank to save with it. We have some financial literacy workbooks, which is the basics. We talk about credit, insurance, a number of things. We have the board game. We have the app where you can get the flashcards on the app, Sense to Sense. We have a lot of good stuff for you and your kids on our site. Go see. I won't tell you too much, but go see and make sure you can use the discount code FIN101, FIN101 for 10% off.
Oh wow, we get a discount as well.
Discount.
Yes.
I gotta give a Branded Hearts discount.
Hey,
Conversations with Kenny discount.
y'all heard it. There's a discount that comes with tonight with the conversation. So this is so awesome. And you said that there is an app for the phone that we can download, a
Yes,
System Sense app.
yes. A Sense to Sense app. It is an app. Your child will be able to. You or your child will be able to look at the stock market. They'll be able to view the flashcards. You'll be able to create things for them to do.
Like your budget.
Yeah, your budget. They have goals. You can donate to a HBCU college. All of that on the Sense to Sense app.
Wow, this is all. Now, I want to ask you one quick question before we go, because you just mentioned the stock market. And now, over the years, I've learned some, but that was always intimidating for me, the New York Stock Exchange and all that language and all that. So do you have information for children as it relates to understanding the stock market and things like that?
Yes, yes. With the virtual academy, there will be a class on the stock market.
That is awesome. Well, I look forward to it, and I know that those on here tonight are looking forward to the great things. And our children are grown, but look forward to grands one day. But I tell you what, I encourage everybody here who has children or grandchildren, and even adults who still need to learn, like those cryptocurrency flashcards. I'm gonna get me some flashcards and learn about this cryptocurrency because I was just reading an article yesterday that crypto and those kinds of things are really the move of the financial future. And so we really have to go
Pay
ahead and
attention.
embrace these things, that it's not just going. And thank God, for the paper green, and speaking of paper green, is that money that I'm looking at behind you all?
This is prop money from movies. Some of this money has my logo on it. My cousin Cameron is an event planner, and she came in, got some money from propmoney.com. It's the money they move on the movies, but people love it. This is always a big topic in
I
my
love it. I was just looking at y'all wall and I was inspired to prosper just looking back.
Yes, well, that's good. We on the right road then.
Absolutely. But listen, thank you all so much for tonight. I am so inspired. And I'm always hungry for knowledge, and you all have just gave me an even greater thirst for knowledge when it comes to finances. I'm never going to say I know it all. I want to learn something every day I
Either.
live. I
Yeah.
think we're supposed to continue learning, and you've
Right.
given us a tool to learn tonight about finances. And I believe God wants us to prosper, but there's a part of it there's but we have to study to prosper. We have to understand the concepts of money to understand everything that you talked about. And so on the censussense.org, all of her information is there. The product is there. The virtual school is coming in April. So we're excited about all this. And Ashley, I just want you to know, when you finished your testimony a few weeks ago, Inola Marcus said, God is not done with you, Ashley. I believe the best is yet to come
Thank
for
you.
you, and for you, Dot, as well. I have admired you for many years for what you have done in
Mm.
this city and for so many people in our community. And I want to tell both of you thanks for this conversation. It has been so enlightening, and I really believe that Sense to Sense is going to change the world for so many people. So thank you all for being here tonight, and thank you all for
Thank
Thank
talking
you
you.
to us.
so
Thank you for having
thank
us.
you for
Thank you
having
all
us.
for attending.
Absolutely. Well, we'll look to hear more, and we'll people, you've got the website, you see how to order the products. Let's just order some stuff, and let's just go ahead and prosper and let our children prosper, and you'll see the fruit of your labor, Ashley, when our children come up here and we're business owners and
Yes,
Amen.
prospering
yes,
everything
yes,
else.
yes.
Amen.
Amen,
We're so
amen.
thankful. So listen, people, thank y'all for tuning into this conversation, and we pray that you were blessed. I know I've been. We bless Ashley and her mother Dot for Sense to Sense and all that you all are doing. Blessings upon each of you. Have a great night. And for this conversation, thank you all, ladies. And
Thank
Thank
we will
you.
you.
see you all again really soon.
All right.
Have
Good
a
night.
great night. And thank you for being a part of this conversation. Good night.